She said it offhandedly, like tossing out trash, as if it was too shameful to admit out loud. Her nose wrinkled in distaste while she looked around the nursing home lobby. The carpet was old. Oxygen machines hummed along the walls. My mother-in-law didn't bother whispering. She wanted people to hear. And my wife. She laughed. Post that, and people will say it was a poverty wedding. They all laughed, like it was something funny. But in the middle of it all, my mother's voice trembled as she whispered, "I'm just happy I got to see this." And I thought, that's enough. That one moment was everything. The next morning, they stormed into my home, mascara streaked, hands trembling, full of accusations. But it was already too late. The fuse had been lit long ago. My mother raised me by herself. 2 jobs, constant pain from her hip, but more love than most could imagine. She spent her life building a future for me, saving for college, a home, even a wedding. But then the diagnosis hit. Stage 4, 3 to 4 months left. Her body ached. Her memory slipped. Asked Claire, my fiancée, if we could move the wedding up, keep it small, something my mom could attend. Her silence was louder than any refusal. 3 days passed before she finally texted, "If that's what you want." But it wasn't about what I wanted. It was for the woman who gave up everything for me. So I paid for it all myself. Found a florist, rented an arch, hired a violinist. The nurses dressed my mom in lace and pearls. She cried when she saw me, held my hand through the ceremony. The others? They looked like they were attending a wake. Later, I overheard them in the hallway. Claire, her mom, and her cousin. Complaining. Mocking. The chairs didn't even match. It felt like a hospital. We couldn't post pictures. People would think we're poor. Claire laughed. Over and over. I stood behind the door and listened. Didn't move. Didn't cry. Just listened. They thought I was soft. Sentimental. Ignorant. What they didn't know was I had 3 degrees, 2 in finance. I'd spent my 20s auditing corporate fraud. I knew how to take someone apart legally and have them say thank you for it. So I waited. Watched. Took note of her passwords, checked bank accounts, read her messages. She thought I didn't notice. But what I found destroyed me. Claire never planned to stay. Her mom coached her on how to use my credit to launch her boutique. She took out loans in my name twice. She delayed signing the prenup until the very last minute. I signed it anyway, knowing it would be void the moment she committed financial fraud. Quietly, I gathered proof. Opened accounts in my name. Froze the shared ones. Transferred the house into a trust under my mother's name. Ironically, part of a palliative transition. She didn't even realize. She was too busy looking at condos in San Diego. A week after the wedding, my mom passed in her sleep. Peacefully. The last picture on her phone was of us, me in a second-hand tux, her in pearls, both of us smiling like royalty. I buried that photo with her. That's when the clock started. 2 weeks later, Claire got a letter from the bank. Her accounts were frozen. The loans were defaulting. My name was no longer attached. She panicked. Her suppliers pulled out. She'd banked her entire business on money she didn't have. Inventory was seized. Her mother screamed down the phone. They showed up at my door, banging like they could force the past to change. I opened the door calmly. No rage. Just the silence that comes before everything breaks. You did this. Claire snapped. I nodded. You lied, I said. You married me for money, mocked the only person who ever truly loved me, and laughed at her final wish. I handed her an envelope. Inside, court documents, evidence of fraud, and a letter from my lawyer. Annulment. No contest. She flipped through the papers like they stung. You can't do this. I already have. Her mother lunged at me, furious. You humiliated us. That wedding was pathetic. I looked her in the eyes. It was the happiest day of her life. That's more than you'll ever get. I shut the door. Claire moved back in with her mother. They sold their car. Her boutique was dissolved. I didn't post anything. Didn't brag. This wasn't revenge. It was justice. Now, every Sunday, I bring white carnations to my mother's grave. I sit. I talk to her. I tell her how things are going. I don't wear my wedding ring anymore. But I still keep the photo. Her smile. That moment. The real wedding. The day love meant more than appearances. They came for wealth. They left with nothing. And I walked away with peace.